Yes, welcome to the show once again. Property matter every Tuesday night we dey carry this one come. But few minutes ago we talk say Engineer Agdebo go dey here to dey tell us things wey we need to know so that we go become property owner. Because na until person get property, wey come be assets like Mama Monica teach us. Now if you talk say I be big man, most of those things wey we dey get, shey dey be assets, shey dey fit bring in something. That's why Engineer Adebo there to teach us the tips, give us tips to getting our own or owning our own property. So on that premise, I say welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Chief. How are you this morning?
Fine, you?
Oh, great. Slimmy,
Yeah.
how are we doing?
I'm very well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Good to have
Yeah, same here. Good morning to our viewers. I believe that you've been enjoying this series. We started on a very good note this year, and we've been more or less talking about how to do it yourself and some of the things you have to take note of since we started this year, you know. So, we are going to continue on that note today, okay? If you've missed any of our videos, okay, I would encourage you to go on YouTube channel and get Property Matter. It's very important. Maybe after this episode, though, okay? So don't go rushing there right away. Just go after this episode and you'll get Property Matter, okay? Watch it and you definitely enjoy it. A number of topics, very useful topics that we've covered that you probably have missed, that you definitely get to
and
watch.
yeah, that's just the YouTube
Yes, that's the
channel.
YouTube channel on the screen for you. So go check it out immediately after.
Yeah.
So today we'll be talking about general tips, you know, on development lease. General tips. What is even a development lease? First of all, you know, we'll start from there, and then we'll talk over that so that you can understand. Because a lot of people do come out to say, "Hey, I'm looking for a developer," or "Our family is looking for a developer. We have a property we want to develop." Or some people would call you and complain, "Developers are evil. They did not do a good job. This and that," you know. So, what are the things that surround development lease? We'll be discussing that today. Starting with what really is development lease. So in layman's term, let me just put it this way. Development lease.
I was actually thinking it was leased. I just saw lease.
No, it's lease.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
lease. Development lease is when you give time, okay, to someone to have some hold or control over your property based on the fact that the person would help you develop it.
Okay.
So maybe it's a land, virgin land, and it would help you put some structures on it. Maybe build block of flats or whatever. And for that purpose, you are saying, okay, you'll be in control of that
Construction.
building. Once it's constructed, maybe it will take 2 years to construct, and then thereafter, maybe another 20 years. You'll be in control of it. After 20 years, it will revert back to the owner of the land. You understand? That, in a way, is development lease. Because what you've done is to lease out the developed property to that owner,
Would the person be
to
using
that
it?
landowner. Which person now?
Like the developer? Would he be
Of
using
course, he's in control of it to use it for whatever purpose, especially to make his money back. That's his essence. So he will put it out on for rent, and then that's how he will make his money back. So you're saying that he will make his money plus whatever he deems to be appropriate profit over that period. That's usually what stipulates the tenor. Okay.
Many a times, sir. Sorry
Yeah.
to call, sir. They hear them developer,
Yeah.
and then they call them. And in the layman language, when they see developer as somebody who say go come, like you talk.
Okay.
I say like you talk.
Okay, I thought you said like a thug.
Like you talk.
No problem.
Person wey go come build on the land, or at times they even the one wey don dey there, they go renovate to their own
Yeah,
taste.
maybe it's not
Yes,
fresh
and
building.
and make their profit for a span of 10 years or thereabout. My first question now is, most of the time when developer take possession or ownership, you go see say maybe they most times give the real landlord maybe just a flat at the back, or they will give him room and parlour self-contained at the back, somewhere he can hide his head or something. Now, is there any law that says that within that 10 years that within the 10 years that they have agreed, is there any law that says that the real owner of that property must never identify him or herself as the landlord or the landlady? Or you can still let the tenant know, look, this is the landlord, though, but I'm just a developer. Or there is a stipulated law now in your own world, I mean property world now, that says you must never parade yourself as a landlord.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, and I won't claim to be one. So I wouldn't know if there is such a law. Okay. But I know that developmental lease is just based on agreements between parties. Okay. If they've agreed that for the purpose of smooth operation, you will not identify yourself as landlord to our tenants whilst we are in control, whilst we have the lease. Okay. Because you must also give somebody that has the lease a free enjoyment of that lease period. But I'm not sure it has anything really to do with whether they identify themselves as landlord or not, provided they are not trying to usurp the rights or privileges of the developer whilst his lease is on. If it's just for the purpose of, now we own the land, though, we gave them this place to develop. They have it for 20 years. It's not as if you are trying to say, no, the tenants came to me. They said this is this. You have to look at it. You have to change. You cannot be doing that.
So what we're saying in essence is if I'm to pay as a tenant now, am I going to pay in their name? Like one
Who is there?
Like, okay, like no, the developer.
Okay.
Do you understand? Am I paying in their name? Because where my own confusion is coming from is the fact that, okay, now do they get to have the property in the name of the developer or in the name of the owner?
Okay, so it depends on how it's structured. Ordinarily, they can register that lease. Okay, and for that number of years, it is in that property is in the name of that developer for that year. And they may not. They may just be operating that developmental lease by way of a contractual agreement between the two parties. Okay, but I want to assume that whichever way, you definitely will pay to the person who has the lease running. Who has his lease running. When he returns the lease, when the reversionary right goes back to the landlord, yes, the landlord will take charge of that property and go on.
Just to learn, sir.
Yeah.
Just to learn. The person will get the list, the power to say, okay, take on like this, no take on like this. Say in real estate world, say na own they call say get power of Anthony. I be different.
Who be that?
When you say somebody has the power of Anthony,
there is no power of Paul or Anthony.
In real estate world?
I'm just joking. There is power of Anthony. Not Anthony
Village.
Not Anthony Village. Or Anthony Bus Stop. Not Anthony.
Power of Anthony now.
Because I know you are Chivolododo, so don't take
Is it now, can we say is a developer that has such power?
What sort of... So power of attorney this is the power of attorney issue. Somebody has power and is giving me those powers. Okay. You understand? So I would say I have power of attorney. Meaning I'm his attorney now. I can act on his behalf as regards these powers that he has given me. You understand? So if the landowner gave developer power of attorney, those powers will be spelled out. You understand? Yeah. If they don't necessarily have to do developmental lease. They don't have to, but sometimes, I mean, it starts by way of giving them certain powers. Even for your agent, you give your agent power at times. You know, to say, okay, in my absence or whether, yes, you can collect rent on my behalf and administer and all of that. You give him such powers.
Are they the one we call caretaker true?
So whether agent, caretaker or whatever, you can give. What I'm saying is that an agent can operate with a power of attorney or just with an appointment to say that you are appointed as our agent, because statutorily, okay, by law, when somebody says you are my agent, it has its clear-cut implication. As regards this transaction, you are my agent to help me look for a buyer. It has its clear-cut implications by law. Duties are conferred on me as the agent to my principal, the person that gave me the brief. So that does not necessarily have to involve a power of attorney. But so most of the time, when the agent, for example, has to take a tenant to court, and the landlord is not there to do the court runs, the agent is put in charge to run everything. The landlord has to give the agent powers, power of attorney to represent him and to be able to prosecute a tenant. Do you understand that? Yes, I appoint this as our attorney to represent us in this case and all of that. He has all backing to be able to do this. I mean, that is what the agent will present to the court, for the court to be able to, listen to him as if he were the landlord.
And any blunder or takeza
Of course.
is in the interest of the landlord. Wow, that's great.
If he loses the case, the landlord has lost.
Wow.
So that's it, because he's representing the landlord. He has given him powers. So people do that in their absence. There are people who own properties and they are out of town.
Sure.
And they have to attend to the demands of running a property.
Yeah.
They can't attend to it by themselves. So,
They need
of course, that's why they look for professionals, people who know what they are doing, who won't jeopardize their interest, or because of their inexperience, run their investment aground. So, you do that. So back to development lease, So that's development lease in a sense. When you give somebody a period of time to be in control of a property that he has participated ab initio in developing, either from scratch or just renovation and all of that and something, but he must have made some contribution into the development of that project. When you do that, you give him some time to be in control of that property. That time is what we call development lease. So that control he has he has it as a result of participating in the development of that project. So it's called development lease. So that's what we call development lease. Now, a few other things. For the developer, you see, a development lease is a business. It's not charity. Because I know that for a lot of landowners, they are looking for who will help them. We are looking for a developer that will help us to develop this property. Yeah, a developer will gladly help you, as far as the numbers will stack. If the numbers stack up and it's in his favor, why not? It will help you. You are helping yourselves.
Number stack?
As in, the numbers are right. So his return on investment is okay for him. When he does the calculation, he says, okay, if I put 20 million into this property to develop it like this, what is rent going for in this area? Okay, so you give me control of this place for so number of years. By the time he puts calculation together, and he sees that, okay, my 10 million naira is better here than in some other places, some other place, then he will take a decision for your property, for your development, and say, okay, we'll gladly take this. And a lot of developers actually have what you can call a rate of return or return on investment guideline that they operate by. So they appraise projects based on what it will give them. And once at least a project matches their benchmark, their minimum maybe return that they won't go below because of other options available to them, then they can consider it, So a number of developers work within 20-25% kind of a thing per annum, If they appraise your project and for the period they are going to be in charge of it after the estimated amount to be spent on it, if it's not going to fetch them certain return on investment, they would rather take something else or use their money for some other development that will fetch them that. So don't go to a developer thinking that he's there to help you like that. It's a business case for him. So what you should be pushing to a developer is your own business. Look at the business side of what you have on offer. So you see that development lease usually happens in places we consider to be viable commercially.
Yes, I believe.
They have to be commercially viable areas. So you see a lot of city centers that are congested, that people are easily able to get a developer. They will demolish their old property and raise, stuff, because the rents in those areas, are very attractive. I think it's time to go for
Okay,
a
we
break.
need to go on this break. When we right back, we will open the phone line. We'll go open phone line so that everybody said will ask any question on top these general tips on development lease where would they treat. Go nowhere. We'll be right back.
The best investment on earth is egg.
The issue of say make a person get house, make a person get land, make a person.
Property matter na serious business, so one of the best investments wey person fit get for life. Shey you be estate agent, surveyor, town planner, or you dey into furniture and you go like make the world sabi your level? Come advertise with us on top property matter wey dey shele for WAP TV for every Tuesday from 8:15 to 9 a.m.
Guys, welcome back to the show, Property Matter. Now we they do and general tips on development lease. That be the theme of discussion. A quick one I'd like to ask here. Okay, let us open the phone lines, then I'll go to the question.
Yes, let me.
Yeah, okay, so guys, call in and ask your questions, make your contributions. It depends on the one with the rock your boat this morning. 08105434984 and for 08173147589 two numbers. Call us on this morning. Okay, Chief, you wanted to ask a question?
Yeah, quick one, sir.
Yeah.
2 questions anyway. The very first one. Issue of structures, because the developer, they come into business.
Yeah.
They agree to develop based on business. Me, self, will get my house. I should be futuristic enough or have that foresight. Say, okay, after 10 years, have you talked say 10 years far, far, go clock now. After that 10 years, which kind of structure you want put for my land? Will be say it go profit me too. So speaking of structure, will it be jointly agreed by the two of them? Shouldn't the two of them go agree, say, okay, do 4-bed flats or do duplex, or now the developer get the right to talk, say, wait, I want to do with this.
Okay, so you see, and this is what I tell people, a development lease is an agreement between parties. And depending on your negotiation skills, you can win a negotiation or lose it. So if you are poor with negotiation, a developer who has been doing this over and over may beat you hands down and you eventually end up with a win-lose situation, such that he makes all the winnings and then you actually have almost little to stand with because of the way you negotiated. So I usually encourage people, that's why I tell people, don't go to a developer like you're looking for pity. No. Explore your business case. And if one developer is not taking it, go to another. No is not the end of the world. You can always get the developer that will work with you, provided your property or the development you are proposing is viable, because that's one major thing. You see, for the developer, viability is very important. For you, quality is very important. You understand? Because he would be in charge for a while. You don't want it to be that, which is what a lot of people experience. After his tenure,
10 years,
the property is gone because it was not ab initio done very well. So it cannot really last you for too long after his tenure. So you are not really going to gain that much there. But if you properly negotiate, you will get his viability, you will get your quality, and of course your return on investment thereafter.
I think I'll be speaking more of things I've experienced. So
Okay.
it's going to be give and take this morning.
Okay.
Another problem we would see with most developers, because I see them all around the Reakari, Solo, and they are buying up people's, they are taking up. I don't want to use it, taking up people's. So at times I get close, I see what's happening. If you enter a room, Engineer Debo, we be saying now you get them. When you do like this inside bedroom, you are not go touch wall. If you do like this, you are not go touch ceiling. But if you want rent some certain houses, we be say you don't enter, without telling you know say a developer build this one, because hardly will you be able to do like this, not to talk of doing like this. They always see them like say they manage resources, or they want to make sure say if possible 20 rooms make a enter. Why has it been like that? And can we say those are the challenges with developers. Once we get to a house, we say a developer build,
You just know.
easily know, because it's always very tight and
all of them. Okay, well, I'll balance that observation to say that it's not in every case.
Okay.
And that there are regulations as to building. You know, so the fact that somebody chose to do his own plots, having a well-extended bedroom, you know, does not mean that another person would not economize to the extent that the law, building regulation, building code can allow. And if he does that, you don't blame him for that. You understand? I can't remember vividly. Maybe if we have an architect in our audience, they may call in to just confirm for us. But I think that toilets and bedrooms, toilet by regulation, I think is 4 square meters minimum. I'm not sure, but they can confirm for us as a minimum. So if I decide to do, and 4 square is quite small if you look at it, you know. So it may be the type that you are saying is small. But my brother, I've told you, viability is important to the developer. So if he realizes that if we should do all this long and extended stuff, I'm going to spend 12 million. And they are only giving me for 10 years. But if I put it to size and I still, within which I can get approval, I will spend just 10 million. And it's still the same 10 years that I will collect rent for. Don't you think that it will do that?
As a businessman.
Yeah, it will do that, provided it's not beating any law. I don't encourage people to, do something that is wrong.
Be selfish.
You know, do something that is wrong. But they can also optimize their return within the law. And that's why I said it. Viability is what is important to the developer.
Does the developer have the right to tell the owner what he wants?
Now, let me balance that. To then say that I've also said that it's negotiation. So if the developer submits a drawing and he says this is it, and you say, no, increase this to this, increase this to that, of course, he will come back to you to say, okay, the 10 years you are talking about, if I must do this, then you must make it 11 or 12 years or 13 years. Then both of you will have to discuss and agree. Whatever you then agree, it becomes... So it's not like somebody has the right to lord it over the other.
Who's messy?
It's not about being at who's mercy, except if the landlord puts himself at the developer's mercy, which is what usually happens. They think they come to the negotiation table with the loser mentality. They come to the negotiation table with the needy mentality, with the weaker party mentality, with desperation. And if the developer smells blood,
obviously,
it's like a shark.
He attacks.
You understand? So that's what usually happens. But if they know what they are doing, you can just be ready to take no and go to the next developer. And if once you have your business case, you can discuss. You have to be reasonable. You have to know that the guy is also there for business, and you have to be able to allow him to make reasonable return on investment. So the issue now is, if what is reasonable for him is too much for you, that's where the dispute will be. And you can move on until you get to somebody that what is reasonable for them matches what you think is also reasonable for you, and then both of you can have an agreement. So it's not really like somebody's at the mercy of each other, although it plays out like that in real life a lot of times, because sincerely, cash is king.
Cash is king,
cash is king. And the developer is the one you think has the cash that is bringing to the table.
But I think I will back you up here, Engineer Debo, in the sense that it depends on the area too, because for some areas in Okota, in some areas like
why are you not mentioning Banana Island?
Because I know there's nobody doing such in Banana Island.
Who says? Who says?
Who says? But seriously, I'm talking
it's
about
everywhere.
I know. I'm talking about where I'm.
I understand. I'm just pulling your legs.
You see developers begging. Yes, you see developers really begging the landlords, and the landlords look at me, she said, because like you rightly said, viability, where the property is now, is a very, very viable place.
So and it cuts across chief, low end, middle end, high end. You'll be shocked that a lot of the development you actually see in the corridors of Ikoyi, Banana Island, VI, they are joint venture developments. And there are things like this because the owner of the land provides land and the developer develops. And they share the proceed, whatever they've developed, either after sales or physically, so that everybody uses his own for whatever he so pleases. So it cuts across. So it's not just for all of these areas. So as we're saying, quality. The other challenge a lot of people then have is how do we, okay, maybe before I talk about quality. So to balance things out, a lot of times, because it's usually a lengthy period that the developer will be in control of your property for those smaller development leases, it's a problem for people to think that, so we will not have any money.
Yes.
We as the owner of the land or children of the owner of the land, because it usually happens with people that are passed on and their families are trying to, instead of sell the property, they're trying to make a better use of it, but they don't have the money, but they are able to think through this challenge. So meaning we won't have any money until 10 years, until, you know. So that's when you said something earlier. That's when negotiations like giving them a flat, giving them a percentage of the rents that is collected, you know, giving them one thing or the other, also over that period of development lease. So usually, when you have some small amount coming to the landowner within the period of the development lease, it also elongates the development lease period. Wow. In the sense that if you are not going to collect anything and just the developer taking everything, it's going to have a shorter development period to revert back to you. But if you are going to be taking 5%, 10%, 20%, or whatever percentage, either by way of taking percentage square meter of the developed space that you are in control of, a rent amount that they give you or something like that, it will increase the tenor that the developer will be asking
recover the investment.
For his investment, you know, so, and it's only reasonable. But all of this, you know, features in negotiation, because also for the developer, you just don't want to go without for those number of years. You don't want to just go without for those number of years. So why not? I mean, for the landowner, you don't want to go without for those number of years. So why not? It's a good negotiation to have, you know, and have some of these things negotiated. Then I wanted to talk about how to ensure quality. Because for the landowner, that is important for him. Because at the end of the day, he's going to end up with the purse. You know, once the developer exits, he's going to end up with the property. So he wants to be sure that he's ending up with something that is of value, you know, that is significant, that is of value to him. That's what he's ending up with, and nothing else. So for the developer, it's important for him to, for the landowner, it's important to negotiate quality into it. And one of the ways you can is by having some clauses that would determine that you have a say in the quality of materials and the construction process. You have a say, and you can actually stop work. You can call for whatever. And sometimes when you don't know about these things, you should be ready to get a professional on your side. It may have to be at your cost. Because if somebody would, be paid by the developer to attend to your own preference, it may be an issue, you know.
Oliver, good morning.
Oliver.
Longest time.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
Long time no year, because you don't see you. Okay, you want to ask a question or contribute, please?
Honestly, I don't know. I just carried my phone call up. I don't know what's the topic.
Are you watching?
Yes.
Oh, it's gone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so as I was saying,
you cannot employ somebody that the developer will be the
and you
one that
think
will
that
pay.
developer will be the one that
Now
will
to
pay,
still
and
check
you,
the
and you
materials.
think that you get value, appropriate value. So it may not happen. It may happen, but it may not happen. So
I think it can
it's
never
usually better because he who pays the piper.
Detects it too.
You know,
So I go pay you, make you call they check my error. Who does
or
that?
something like that. You know, Chifolododo can't pay somebody now, or I can't pay somebody now and expect that it is Chifolododo they will be hailing in the party.
I didn't get that.
In the party now.
Obviously,
So
now you pay.
I'm spraying.
Wasiu
They
now.
do not be.
If Wasiu now, I'm spraying Wasiu, and they say Olododo, yes sir, Olododo, yes sir.
It dey happen.
That can happen.
It dey happen.
I can't be spraying
You know,
somebody.
there's some people.
He who pays the piper dictates the tune.
You know, here waiting.
It doesn't happen.
Olamide talk. Small doctor
I
say,
don't-
Olowo yato soloro.
I
You
don't
na
know.
money you get. Me, you know, if you and Dangote dey for party now, you can't dey spray Wasiu, and Dangote go come. They go call your name. Who know you?
I will stop spraying now.
So let's go back to my seat. When Dangote leaves, I'll come back and spray.
Let the Dangote that
with
is spraying.
Wazir
No,
call you.
obviously, no, that's the case now. But when he leaves, I'll go back and they'll come.
That's when I've gone. When Olododo don't go. But say I did there without
Until
spraying.
then.
My can say bye. And they go to call me. You go to say, oh no, oh no,
I beg. So he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Okay, so it's better for you to get a professional on your side that would help you, monitor that process of quality, check construction and things like that. And all of this starts from even your lease agreement, your negotiation even. Okay, I tell people, and a lot of people looking for developers fall into this trap. They are either too unreasonable or too easy.
Okay.
They are usually too unreasonable because they are not being realistic. They want to solve a problem, and it is that problem that they are looking at, okay, and negotiating by, not the property they have, not the potentials of the property they have. So if the problem is so much and they are putting it on just one property, they will sound unreasonable to the developer. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. A family needs to be raising, let's say like 12 million every year, okay, for something to take care of the family. And then they have a property and a project they are presenting to the developer. And the developer can only reasonably, if he's going to stay for, if he wants to give you that 12 million, then he has to stay for 20 years. But you don't want to give him more than 10 years. But you still want 12 million because 12 million is your price. You don't want to go down below 12 million. That way you may look unreasonable to the developer. Do you understand? And usually it's because it is your problem you are looking at. You are not looking at, you are not negotiating
the business.
We are not looking at negotiating the business on ground, looking at the figures, okay? Or sometimes they will be naive. They are naive, they don't know much. It's the developer that will tell them everything. This is how we do it, this is how much you can get, and they will just take it
And
like
he
that.
say it to his own advantage.
Of course, he will say it to his own advantage. So you need to, even from the negotiation stage, okay, you need to carry on your professional estate surveyor or valuer or your lawyer, whoever that you work with that is in that space, experienced. Between these two people, these two professions, you actually have people that have been exposed to a lot of such negotiations, okay? Then to the drafting of your lease agreement, because an agreement normally comes out of a lease, is what guides a developmental lease, okay? To the drafting of your agreement so that the necessary clauses, the necessary things that should protect you are there ab initio. Very important. In all of this process, you need to usually carry along a professional. Now, you may say, but how will we get the money? So this is one valve, okay, one escape route that is available to the landowner. There is what is called premium. Okay? There's what is called premium in developmental leases, when you are negotiating development lease. It's the money that a landowner asks for upfront before giving access to a developer to his land. You know, I'm contributing land to this project. You are building.
You know, Mr. Debo, it's just like, it is more like you just saw what was in my mind. That was what I was shaking my, because I was trying to understand. And in my mind, I was saying, okay, maybe my question feed a lame or something. Now, for me, I feel, okay, if I'm contributing my land now for you to develop, or I'm leasing my land out for a specific period of time, do I still contribute my money in the process of building? Or if I give you my land and then you build on it, so for the next 20 years, are you going to be paying me any particular amount? Or since I've given you my land, it's going to be for your advantage for the next 20 years, and then when you are done, you just return it back to me?
Return it back to you with the property that...
With the property
that
on it, yes.
So that's your gain. So I don't want to say, it's not a straitjacket thing. Textbook will tell you that you just contribute land, okay, or an existing site that is to be improved, and then you agree tenure, and the developer develops or improves it and stays in it or controls it for the number of years and then returns it back to you. That's textbook. But you see, in real life, there are a number of things that can be negotiated into a development lease. One of which is this premium. It's not every development that a developer will pay the landowner money as premium advance. No. In some joint venture, some development lease, premium is zero. You understand? Okay. I'm just saying that for the developer, for the landowner that doesn't really have money and is looking for how he will be able to afford some of this professional help that he would need, one escape route available is VAV available is this premium. Okay, premium is an amount that you pay upfront, and the justification is this. You see, if I give you my property to develop, from day one, I have risked my land. Because if that project should not go on as planned or not concluded within the time and all of that, I'm already at risk. Me, that I've given you the land. I can't sell the land to another person. Ordinarily, I mean, without any challenge, I can, but I would have to terminate these agreements and all of that. Rather. But I would have wasted time and resources in doing all of that. So, your premium is usually a payment for the risk.
So, in case you choose not to continue.
You know, and some people use it as a test of seriousness of the developer. That, okay, bring premium. I mean, the other day, we were in negotiation with a family and talking about development lease. And they had signed, or they were about signing, let me put it that way, with another organization when they came to us. And we said, so why are you not going ahead with them? They said, the people that, even to look for premium of, I've forgotten how much, but for the purpose of this discussion, let's assume that the project is to be like a billion naira development. And they said somebody should go and look for, should come and pay a premium of about 50 million naira. And they've gone for like 2 months looking for 50 million. So the guy was saying that the chief, I mean the head of the family was saying, if they are talking about a project of 1 billion, for example. And
you can't cover 50 million.
50 million, they are still looking for it. They've not come back to us in 2 months. I don't want to get into problems. I can already foresee problem in this development, because what it means is that, which a lot of developers, that's the situation of a lot of developers, and that's what also a landowner must mitigate. It's not so much as to, they must show capacity to be able to develop. But it's not so much in what most landowners ask for. They say, go and bring your proof of funds. You know, that's very, very good proof of funds. They will say, let your bank write to us that you have this much. You see, a developer will get any of that easily without having that. Even, I mean, if somebody wants to do a 1 billion naira project today and you say it is only the proof of funds that is between him and that project, guess what? Even if he doesn't have 50,000 naira in his account, if he's really an entrepreneur, give him a good time. And he will give you proof of funds of 1 billion. But you see, depending on how you tie that 1 billion around, the 1 billion may evaporate once he has gotten your consent. If you don't secure it, if you don't, you know, depending on the arrangement you are putting in place, you may easily be able to get that. So, but yes, try other means. Try more structured means. That's why you need professionals. We can't exhaust
quickly, the last question
of how you can prove how you can prove that the capacity of anybody that you are going to joint venture with, so that you don't get trapped, you know, by you've already started a project and you realize that the money that was your own issue for coming into joint venture, you see the developer's issue. So you are back in the same spot and you've given a lot away. You want to be careful about that.
Yeah, quickly, I want to ask this question before we go. If you are to give me the house for 10 years, the land for 10 years. Does that 10 years encapsulate the building period, or after I finish building, we'll now start counting?
You know what we'll do? I will postpone this question till next week because the time is already gone. But next week, what we'll be doing is I will bring a typical development lease transaction. Of course, we'll protect privacy of people and all of that. So we'll bring a typical and discuss the details of that so that it can best answer some of the questions that you have and probably some of our viewers. I wouldn't know why we only got one call today.
They're learning.
Maybe really?
Yeah, sure.
So we'll continue this next week. So we have more time to learn, okay? More time to learn. Thank you very much. Please note your question, Chief, so that we can have it next week.
Okay, thank you very much, our viewers. We want to say a very big thank you. Don't forget, say what we discussed today in our general tips on development lease. That is the issue of developers vis-a-vis the land or property owners. So if you even want to do such, yes, feel free, call us next week on the show. I'm sure he has the right kind of people you can recommend. His details is always there on our
Yes.
YouTube channel and everywhere. So from every one of us here, we want to say a very, very big thank you. And we'll say
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you very much.
watching. See you guys tomorrow.
See
Have
you-
a good
see you next week.
Tuesday.